You know, the trouble with a denial is that when truth comes, you are not quite ready anymore. The Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, that's the AGF, Abubakar Malami, has dismissed claims that Nigeria lost more than $2.4 billion from an alleged sale of 48 million barrels of crude oil exported to China in 2015. Now, at the resumed House of Reps ad hoc committee probing the deal, the chief law officer of the country described the allegations as baseless, unfounded, and lacking in merit and substance. Malami said his office had filed a criminal suit against individuals who purportedly raised the allegations being investigated. He revealed that the same smart folks had sought to defraud the government with the bogus claims. What happens next, Wale?
Where?
After several invitations, the minister, accompanied by the permanent secretary, is before the legislators. Abubakar Malami apologizes for his inability to honor the committee's invitations and reaffirms his respect for the parliament.
First, let me express my sincere apologies, multiple apologies for that matter. First, on account of my inability to be here earlier.
A one-page document is passed to him for his eyes only, and after going through it in silence, says he will not agree to a closed-door meeting.
I'm here for open engagement for the Nigerians to see. I am here on behalf of Nigerians, and I want Nigerians to share in what we are doing for the purpose of transparency and accountability of it.
We are not asking for closure.
I know very well. That is why I'm asking who are they.
Came in,
yes.
And we feel in the interest of both parties, justice, okay, and to protect the institution of the National Assembly and that of the government of the Federation of Nigeria.
That settled, he provides responses to the numerous questions posed to him in the course of the committee's correspondences to his office. The minister describes the petitioners as a syndicate poised to defraud the nation. He therefore believes the committee should not waste its time on the probe.
A prima facie case of fraud. So this time around, it is not about the recovery of the product, but the fact that these people in contention were fraudulent. They simply were trying to establish a case against the federal government to extort the federal government.
He also insists his office is not in charge of recoveries, but the Minister of Finance, and that all recovered funds are deposited in an assets recovery account domiciled in the Central Bank of Nigeria. The committee seeks guidance in the provision of Section 162 of the Constitution, which states that all government revenues shall be deposited in the Federation account.
Asset recovery account. Because we are assuming on this part, before we conclude, we still want a guide from you, that part of what is causing the misinformation is because maybe the process or the procedure, we have been contravening them.
Yeah. Where you find a breach is if the monies are utilized from the account without recourse to appropriation, without being deposited into the Federation account. And at the end of the day, it's about transparency.
After speaking for more than 1 hour, the committee halts its flow, demanding that its memorandum be made available to be digested for further interrogations. The committee says it has over 700 questions for the minister. Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, still has a date with this committee, and he has promised to make himself available anytime he is needed with necessary information that will assist the committee in the discharge of its assignment. Joke Edsa, TVC News, Abuja.
Many thanks. Wale, we are living in very interesting times.
Yeah. Well, I think the Minister of Justice is in a position to know what is happening. So we should not dismiss whatever he says. But then, as Nigerians, if you look at precedents, we have so many reasons to doubt, even if what he's saying is true. Because the oil industry is full of all sorts of scams, including
messy.
The subsidy,
Yeah.
And important people that are supposed to know, including former Emir of Kaduna, former CBN governor, former member of Kano, said oil subsidy is a scam. And we have the House of Rep ad hoc committee probing oil subsidy from 2013 to 2021. They discovered that 24 oil companies, they can't trace their legitimate, papers. And they are all involved. But funds were paid into their accounts. So the FCC has arrested a lot of people. One, the son of former PDP chairman, taking them to court, 2.2 billion. So there are all sorts of stories weaved around. So what we can say is that the oil sector is a cesspool, it's a soccer wheel of fraud, corruption, and greed. So what the minister is saying is just something that we still need to probe further. Maybe there are other things that he even does not know. But for us to say we are dismissing, no. But it's not the last statement that I want to hear.
Yeah.
We still need to probe further, and there have been several probes. We want to know what happens to those reports. The white paper release and those that are responsible should be sanctioned. So we cannot just be moving in one circle. Every time we talk about people stealing money, people being arrested by FCC, everything tied to oil. So I think it will come a time that we are really going to open up this kind of oil, so that we can
reconcile all of these with the fact that Wale Bolaji, we are told every day Nigeria's crude is being stolen.
Yeah.
And the indication is that we know them. They are big boys and big girls. Yeah. We can't touch them. We're in trouble.
That is it.
We're in trouble.
So we hope with the next government, beyond the House of Rep, because some of them may also be, collaborators. So we may need an independent inquiry. We need to probe the oil sector if we are really to unveil corruption, and be able to retrieve funds.
And more than that, I hear when you pour oil on troubled waters, you are asking at this point, what do you pour on our troubled oil? Okay, we'll take a breather here. We'll go on a commercial break. We should be back. Please stay with us. All right, welcome back. Still tagging this story, credited to the Attorney General. The Attorney General wants you and I to believe that the $2.4 billion that was said to be missing is a ruse. Tunji, I'm wondering how you react to this.
Well, our powerful Minister of Justice and AG has spoken. Well, you see, unfortunately, that is always the style in this country. Someone at his level will just come and start bamboozling us, that say, oh, this is a lie, there's nothing, no substance to this thing. On what basis are you giving us this assertion? Why are you premising this? What are the basis? What are the investigations you have done? You see, people will just not sit down and make a claim like that. There could be, it may not be up to that, but there's for every smoke there's a little bit of fire. So what I expect the Attorney General, to say is we are going to do a further probe about this matter. We want the person that made this claim, who is a whistleblower, to come with more evidence for us to help us in our investigation. Not that they are going to take the guy to court, they are going to prosecute the guy. If you prosecute a whistleblower, a whistleblower is supposed to be protected.
So what's the essence?
Exactly. Why is he a whistleblower again? Because he's supposed to be protected, because he gave you information. It is not for you to go and do further investigation, further probe. But if you do that, if you say you are going to prosecute him, you have discouraged people that would likely want to give us information about certain things that are inimical to the interests of this country. So I disagree with the Minister of Justice. I think the minister should not say there was no substance to that. I think what he should do is about doing a further probe, that we should further probe this thing, but we are inviting information. We are looking for, if this man can supply more information about his claim, we appreciate it. You know that you are going to prosecute him.
Wale, are we damned?
Well, I think we...
what I mean is, are we damned to the extent that things will not work in this country?
I don't want to believe that, because there are historical references that we have proved to the whole world that we can run our affairs. If you look at the achievements, when we had regional system of government, when Nigeria was reference point for the whole of Africa, and in fact, the whole of the entire black world, when countries like Malaysia, Singapore were compared to Nigeria, the GDP, even by UNDP figures. But it start far higher than many countries in Europe, in Eastern Europe, and even Asia. And we are talking about the time that naira was equivalent to, I think about 1 naira to 70 kobo. I mean, one pounds to 70 kobo.
Yeah,
so that time maybe
kobo to $1.
When people will come to UNA to pick graduates when they are in their final year. Nigerian graduates were hot cake all over the world. Indians were coming here to attend secondary schools. Ghanaians were coming here to...
South Africans were here.
South Africans were here.
Was making
so
money.
Nigerian professors were like, gold. All everywhere they go. Not now that we are going to... You want to send your children to the best school, you take him to Togo. You take him to Ghana. So we are down. But I think we should not be hopeless. Because at the time...
when Bolaji will remember this, a former British Prime Minister, David Cameron, said openly, and our president was in the audience, if the amount of money stolen from Nigeria in the last 30 years was stolen from the UK would have ceased to exist.
Yeah, we are fantastically corrupt.
Yeah.
That is the expression.
Oh, yeah, that's what he said.
I believe with a good leader, it took some good leaders to change Singapore, to change China. China was a backwater country until 1949, that since eventually changed. And, China rose to be a world power. So we just need that single person with a good vision, who is selfless, who is committed, who is transparent, who is determined to deal with rogue cartels that are everywhere all over our country.
Especially in the oil business.
Yeah.